Whiteboard Game, the boys talk about songs connected by a mystery theme.
Would be episode 6, is episode 5. I think that's the...
Oh, should I start? Okay. Welcome back to the Whiteboard Game with Idio Twin. With us. I'm Fred.
I'm Chris.
Yeah, he is. This is episode whatever.
Episode 5?
Episode 5. Yes, there was a mishap. There was a technological mishap. We did record a whole episode, and whilst we both enjoyed playing it, so it was still worthwhile, my recording just it vanished. It Jesused along the road to Damascus is how I'll
disappeared from the face of your laptop.
Exactly, yeah. So, which is fine, you know, no one's died, apart from the file, I suppose, but it's not technically living, so no funeral was held. But here, look, we got another one. This one will definitely make it. It will. I will ensure it does.
It won't definitely be better, but it might be still good.
I'll tell
perhaps.
you what, the biggest tragedy of it is I think that the one we recorded last time was the first one we've recorded where I've won.
It was actually, yeah.
I think that's the biggest tragedy of it. So I've got to really, I want to try and keep it up. 2 in a row is harder than 1 in a row. But yes, this is the Whiteboard Game. If you have been listening, you know what this is. If not, this is a game where Chris and I share music extracts, mysterious, nameless, faceless music extracts that the alternate person listens to. You have to guess who wrote it, what it's called, when it was released, with some year ranges either side to allow for leniency, and then the genre. Sometimes there's a fifth category. There isn't a fifth category as such, but there is a stipulation.
I don't know what that word means, but yeah.
A rule.
There
is. A theme.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And that is that, well, the theme is that it's a mystery theme. We normally predilect, we talk about it beforehand, and we come to a conclusion. But sometimes we say, no, the conclusion we're going to reach is that we don't want to know what each other does. And so this is the case for this game. I've only said my theme was, which wouldn't work because
Very
Chris and I have
close.
decided that we both get a maximum of 3 guesses throughout this game. And I suppose we can use them, well, just, I guess early on, but ultimately whenever we want.
Yeah.
If you get it right on your first guess what the other person's theme was, that's a bonus 3 points. Second guess 2 points. Third guess 1 point. After that, I guess bad luck, pal.
Yeah. You failed to guess the theme.
Exactly. Could be anything. That's the beauty of the theme. It could be absolutely anything. I think that's all the pre-ramble about the game.
I think so.
I don't think
Yeah.
I need to explain anything more. Talk to me, Chris. What's going on?
I'm good. I'm fine. Same old. Same as it ever was.
Letting the days go by.
I genuinely, I don't. What have I done recently? I don't know. We've had some gigs
Yes,
since
yes, we have.
last time we did this, probably.
We've had at least one.
I have a feeling we're behind on record. Is this meant to be May's game? We're in June.
Yes, this is one. We're one behind,
Okay.
so we need to do either another one this month or 2 next month.
Okay. Yeah. How do you think the gigs went? I think they were pretty decent.
I do think they were pretty decent. We had one in Shepherd's Bush at the Syndicum Social at the start of May. Was it the start? Yes, because we're in June now.
I think it was exactly a month ago.
It was. You're
6th
right.
of May, yeah.
And I know that because Chris wrote the world's greatest jingle for that gig. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to our social media pages right now. Pause this.
Yeah.
Go and find our publicity for the Syndicum Social. Chris gave it everything. It is majestic.
Specifically our TikTok, because our TikTok is not doing very well at the moment.
Yeah, there are weevils in our TikTok system. I don't know what's going on there. If you're listening, TikTok, I am not a happy boy.
Sort it out.
Yeah, listen, we haven't done anything wrong, I don't think. No, we haven't. I don't think we have.
The views are down.
Yeah, the views are down
by like 90%, which is...
Yeah.
I mean, my theory is it's not getting shared beyond our followers, which is an issue. Because,
not one in our control.
Yeah, it's, I think for, we haven't had success on places like Facebook, but for something like TikTok, where most stuff is generally spread pretty quickly and pretty well. I mean, especially a lot of our other videos were doing really well.
We had hit our most successful 2 weeks, maybe. And then suddenly it just fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
Which made me want to fall off a cliff. And it's gone on for a couple of weeks now, 2-3 weeks. Which is, I think the word agonising is probably fair.
Frustrating.
Yeah. So if you are hearing this, please help a brother out.
Sort it out.
Yes. But no, more positively, Cynical Social, that gig was good. Had a bit of a laugh, a dedication to the best striker in the world.
Oh, yes.
Jean-Philippe Mateta, Crystal Palace's number 9. Just... My dad is a Crystal Palace fan. He is obviously, well, to be my dad, he has to be older than me. In his years of watching football, he himself said to me, only last night at the time recording as well, he has never seen anything like it in his life. A player to be effectively, his transfer listing imminent. And then new manager comes in, and it's like he's just, I don't know, it's suddenly like he wakes up one morning and goes, oh, hang on, my feet have been the wrong way this whole time. And he swaps them, and suddenly he's amazing.
Yeah.
So that dedication I thought was very deserved.
It was, yeah. They had I think it was Crystal Palace were playing Man United as well.
Yes, they were.
And they had the game on.
And they whooped them.
In the Syndicate episode, and they whooped them.
4-0, I think.
I think it was. I think Mateta got 2 goals, and it was a lovely evening.
Sound engineer on duty was a Crystal Palace fan as well.
It was a perfect setup.
And then you feel free to talk about the spice of life. I've had my turn.
The spice of life was nice. We met some very lovely folk there. Some of the other acts, people running the night as well. They were all very lovely. We all got along with them very well. They might be listening to this. If you are, you know who you are.
Yes.
You're in our hearts.
Yes.
Not that you've gone, just that you hold a dear place.
Yes.
But there were a few issues. The main one for me is I broke my oboe.
Yeah, that was a shame.
Yeah,
Such a delicate instrument.
Yeah, it's so delicate, and the moment it happened, it's one of those things where you don't think much of it in the moment, but it's when you start playing it again that you realise, it's not making a single sound. This is a big issue. I need to get it fixed. So it's currently being repaired. Should hopefully get it back soon. I've got my fingers crossed. It'll be fine. But
I can confirm that I can see Chris. Obviously, we're in the same room. He hasn't got his fingers crossed. He's a liar.
I've got my fingers crossed in my mind.
In his mind,
I've got my mind's fingers crossed.
Yes. Those old things. Yes.
I don't have too much more to say. There were some sort of set. How would you say? People in the gig. I'm struggling to think of what to say at the moment. This will probably end up funneling into the game, which is annoying. But so there were 5 acts. Basically, we were initially on 2nd. Got a call sometime before the gig saying that we were going to be on 4th. And then when we were there, we're told that the guy who was meant to be 2nd isn't there anymore. He's yet to arrive to the gig that he's playing in, even though people have already started performing. Which we don't like too much.
No.
We if you're performing in a gig, it's nice to show support to the other ones, especially because
independent music.
Yeah, this guy seemed like one of the bigger acts as well.
Yeah.
It's nice to show support, and When it came to support, he was void basically,
Yes.
which was a shame.
Mm.
But you get those sort of people, I guess. So yeah, we ended up going second, much to our dismay, because the people we'd invited hadn't got there yet. But fortunately, they arrived partway through our set, so they weren't,
Entirely,
totally, they didn't ask for their money back. Basically, that was my biggest fear. But no, it wasn't too bad in the end. We made some good friends.
We did. We did. I think the way I look at it in terms of outward response, I think the people that wanted to get the most out of that gig and the people that were active listeners throughout the night had a good evening. They got what they wanted, I think anyone else involved, I'm quite content to not worry about them anymore, sort of thing.
Yeah,
so
exactly. It was quite a loud night, and I think that was just because there was a lot more people than usual, which I was, it's like a blessing and a curse. It's annoying when you play, but when there's a lot of people that are there for your gig and you're performing to them, it's a really nice feeling, especially when so many of them aren't people you know. I mean, so many of them.
Yeah.
So that I think for me that will always be a nice feeling. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, I completely agree with you. You could be one of those people. At the time of recording, next gig, 16th of June. Where is it at? Oh, the Spice of Life. We live there.
Again.
It's our house now. We are there again on the 16th of June. Otherwise, there's another gig in July at the Hope and Anchor in Islington.
Oh, that's where it is.
I can't remember the day. Filler. Padding for time.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we have any outside of that. We may have some crop up, and you can check our social media and find out. I need to change the link tree. I've just remembered to the
17th of July. 17th.
Oh.
17th of July.
Nice.
I did just open up the email chain with the promoter for that venue, and there was a pop-up box saying, "Oh, why not reply with an emoji?" And it's like, no, not here.
For our own reputation, no, thank you.
Yes. Does that time sound good for you? Yes, it does. Tongue out, smiling face.
Winky face.
Yeah. 100 underlined. Yes. Those are the two coming up at the time of recording. So if this goes out before then and you are interested, I've just told you the name of the venues. You have no excuse. None. Anyway.
If you happen to not have much money, if you happen to not like our music, then you have some excuses. But it would be lovely to see you there. We do try to invite a lot of people, and a lot of the time it is our close friends and family. But we do have a few times where it's people that we haven't seen for a while, and that's always a lovely thing. And who knows, you might actually enjoy it. So.
Yeah, that's the biggest selling point. There is a chance it will be an evening well spent.
Yeah.
Yes.
So please do come. And whilst you're, trying to book your tickets, we can have this in the background while we talk about some music.
Let's talk about some music.
Yeah.
Right. Who went first before? It was you. You guessed first, so I will guess now. Our AVG has just popped up. Apparently they have found XX performance issues. They won't tell me how many. Okay, so. Right. I didn't immediately recognise the voice of this man for your first extract.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's sort of a bit hip-hoppy, a bit R&B-y, and I don't recognise the voice... It sounds like I'm going to say Craig David, like the old days. That was always my get out of jail card.
I do remember that, yeah.
Because I knew it would be wrong, but it's not like I've tried and it's embarrassing. It's like I've acknowledged my ignorance. But I've gone for another one I tend to fall back on because it could be multiple voices if I say this. I said Brockhampton.
Mm-hmm.
That means it's wrong. I said Stay the Same.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been multiple things.
Oh.
2016, R&B. I'm going to make my first guess
Sure.
at your theme, if that's okay.
Okay.
Are all the songs to do with things ending?
No.
Okay, there's 3 points gone. Okay.
Technically 1 if you get it on your next one. So, you know.
Well, we'll see. I was so confident in that. I'm not going to lie to you.
This is by... they've also got full capitals for their name. This is
They
by...
also have full capitals.
It's by I think it's a hip-hop duo called They.
Mm.
The
They
song's
full
called...
stop.
They Full Stop, yes.
Yeah. Show some respect.
The song is called Ain't the Same. So you were close. You were close. I put hip hop 2018. Do you know what? I might combine the closeness of the title and the closeness of R&B to hip hop and combine a point there and then give you another point for the year.
I think that's fair.
So I'll give you 2 points for
Thank
that.
you.
Yes. No, this is a... I used to listen to them quite a lot back in sixth form. I say quite a lot. I think there were 2 songs of theirs that I listened to. Another one was called Thrive. They're decent. They're all right. I did enjoy them. This is a nice chill one.
Can I just say, I take a lot of entertainment from as you structure your sentences describing them. You keep going, I really like them. They've got a couple of good songs. I really like.
Yeah, I'm a bit out of it, so I apologise if some of my descriptions are either slow or just don't make sense in general. Yeah, I don't have too much more to say about They. Give their stuff a listen. They're decent.
They are decent.
Cool hip hop stuff. I haven't listened to any of their recent things, but they're still kicking. They got a pretty decent amount of Spotify listeners, so that they're not small. Mm-hmm. They're doing well for themselves.
They are doing well for
cool.
themselves.
Indeed. And yeah, I'll leave it there.
Okay.
2 points for you.
Thank you very much.
Right. This one. I have maybe 2 things I think the theme can be.
Okay.
I don't remember what I just said, so I'm going to try and work off of that. There's 2 groups whose names would imply a certain theme. Okay. But I'm not confident that I've got either of the artists for this. Okay. So I'm going to leave it. I'm going to guess the answer and then I guess the theme. I guessed R.E.M. Mm-hmm. Mainly because it had that alt country sound, but it didn't sound like Michael Stipe, so it was a guess at best. Breakfast at Tiffany's, I said, was the name of the song. Alt country / indie rock. Came in 2002. I will guess. It's frustrating. My first, seeing as you guessed,
sure,
a theme. I'll guess. You can tell I'm out of it, can't you?
No, no, you're fine.
Yeah, are your songs not covers necessarily, but make like allures to other
sure.
music?
No.
Okay.
No.
That was a comfortable no.
No.
Yeah.
But a good guess. A very good guess. I have got a fascination in the back of my mind of trying to do a game where it's all covers. I've done it once before when we had a big group to do it with. And I think the more I listen, the more covers I rack up. I will do it again someday maybe, but today's not that day.
Okay.
This is a big time one-hit wonder. This is so it's probably fair that you may not have heard of the group.
Yeah.
Deep Blue something. Okay. Breakfast at Tiffany's, 1995, earlier than you thought.
Yeah.
Alt rock. As I say, it's just a big one-hit wonder. I don't have much more to say about it other than I used to like this a lot more. When I was coming up with my theme, I came to this song, and I listened back to it, and I knew I wanted to use it, but I was a bit disappointed. I listened back to it and I thought, I don't like this as much as I used to. I don't. I wouldn't have awarded it one hit wonder status if I was in charge of that sort of thing.
Okay.
But it's decent. It's decent. I'm going to leave it there. It's decent. 2 points.
Cheers.
You're
Appreciate
welcome. So, this was a jazz piece. Chris gave me jazz, but it didn't have a voice, so that didn't help.
it. Unlucky, mate.
But it sounded like they were saxophones.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's either the name of an ensemble or it's a group fronted by a name everyone knows, sort of thing. And because I had saxophone, I said Jonathan Coltrane.
Yeah.
Remember, why not? Remember, Air reference, possibly. 1966 could be too late. I don't know. Smooth jazz, lounge jazz, jazz. Nice. I'm gonna withhold on my second guess for now. I'm gonna withhold on it. But I know I can't cheat and wait until right at the end and then go, 2 points. Here we go. I'm not gonna do that.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
I will. Look, at the latest, I will do it next. I won't do it now.
This is Thelonious Monk,
It was a different one.
a pianist.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I think he
yes.
plays piano.
Mm.
The song is called Panonica. I
Panonica.
believe that's how you pronounce it.
Mhm.
Bebop jazz. I thought it might have been bebop because I was like, it's sort of Miles Davis-y in terms of the harmony.
Mhm.
And I looked it up and I saw the word bebop, so I thought that's enough.
Mm.
That's conclusive enough proof for me. 1957, which feels like the bebop era,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
50s sort of stuff. This is from Brilliant Corners. I'm sure you've probably heard of Thelonious Monk's
Of course, I've heard of
most popular album, Brilliant Corners. I enjoyed the instrumentation in this one.
Yes.
The changing harmony's cool too. I find it hard to talk about jazz and things I like because a lot of the time I'm not saying it's this that I like. It's just like I like this.
Mm.
I like the song. Can I have that as a reason and leave it?
Yes.
Is how I feel about most of the stuff I listen to.
Mm.
Never been massive into jazz. It's always a thing that I try to get into and find it more difficult than other genres. I don't know. But this is pretty nice. I'm not massive on the Monk Man.
The Monk Man.
Bebop pianist. Not sure how many of those you have.
Mm.
Not sure how many of those you have as good as Thelonious Monk as well. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll leave it there, and I'll give you a point for jazz.
For jazz. Oh, it's a weak point, but we take those. Thank you. Okay.
This next one of yours was the one which led me to
The
make my
other
guess.
answer. Okay.
Yeah, the answer I've got for your one.
Okay,
now
cool. Oh, right now. Okay.
is the one which which is what made me make my theme guess.
Okay.
Because the lead in to what I presume is the chorus sounds exactly like Oh Darling by the Beatles.
Mm.
But I do believe that whoever's singing is singing Oh Donna.
Yes.
A frustrating thing for me as well is I couldn't tell who it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I've put Thin Lizzy. And I don't think it's what's his name? Phil Lynott.
Phil Lynott. Oh, Phil, I love you.
It felt like 80s rock sort of stuff. And I think Thin Lizzy did their fair share of 80s rock, I think, didn't they? So,
Oh, yeah. 100%.
O'Donnell. I like to think in a certain universe that song is about a kebab shop. Rock 1985.
Hello, darling. Yes, I like. It's all about a kebab. It's all about a kebab. So, you're right in that when you say Thin Lizzy, it's a similar what I'm going to describe as Fredcore band.
Oh, I see.
You're right in that much.
Oh, okay. Is it 10cc?
It's 10cc. It's their first album
sense.
that it's off of.
Wow,
Donna.
73. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is it, man. No one talks about 10cc. Prog rock trailblazers, Britpop trailblazers, silly, stupid, fun time trailblazers. I put all three of them down.
Did they have their Britpop era?
I think the way they write lyrics was, I think, foreshadowed the way that Britpop lyrics of the 90s would be written.
Britpop.
Yeah, in that sense, yeah. The sound, no, but I think lyrically, I think definitely. Released in 1973, as you say. Like I said, pop rock, doo-wop, glam rock. It fits that 10cc billing of just a bit mental. Yeah. Structurally, you got no idea what's going on. It's them. It sounds like they're just being very silly. You've got the most outrageous falsetto, pitched up vocals you've ever heard rather. And you can look it up on YouTube. It's a Top of the Pops video, and it's one of them where it's so clear that they know how absurd the song is, and also they know how absurd it is that they have to mouth along to it on stage. And so they're clearly not really playing, and they're just kind of giggling.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love 10cc, man. I love Phil Lynott too. I get to shout out two of the greats personally in one sitting here. Their first album for me is the weakest one, but Donna it's as I say, it's an absurd masterpiece entry into the 10cc absurd collection. I am going to say that is 2 points.
Oh, cheers, thank you.
Because
very worried there. But,
no, rock is rock.
Appreciate it. I was going to put glam rock, but I thought if I put glam rock and it's not glam rock, I'm not sort of playing it safe.
You gave me jazz. Just jazz.
I guess so, yeah.
I think it's valid. So where are we here?
I was going to say what I thought of when you mentioned 10cc not playing into the Top of the Pops thing. It reminded me of that time Rod Stewart did it.
Oh God!
And I think him and his bandmates just started playing football on stage or something.
They did, yes.
Which is very amusing.
It reminds me as well personally of Pixies' "Here Comes Your Man," and I don't think it was Top of the Pops, but I think it was when they got asked to record a video of them like playing along to it but lip syncing, and they didn't agree with that. So what you have for what is, I suppose, quite an upbeat song is actually a video that's non-intentionally quite sinister, because when they're meant to be singing, they just stand there with their mouths open, and so it looks like they're all a bit possessed. Anyway, your third one. Well, we're on the third, yes, we are.
Yeah.
I think you've whipped out a They Might Be Giants play. Speaking of absurdity, I found this one quite entertaining.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's about a relationship. He just repeatedly kept saying, when are you going to die?
Yeah.
So I said the title is When Will You Die? I said 1989. I always get their years confused. I don't know why. It's not ingrained in my head yet. Geek rock, because that's, I guess, their main genre, I suppose. Right, my guess.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to use the logic I've got from these three answers now.
Okay.
Knowing that if I am right, I have lost multiple points in the process, but it's fine. Do all of these artists, bands, whatever, start with the?
Yeah.
Come on, vamos, vamos.
And, well, I hadn't even said that this was They Might Be Giants, but yeah. They do. I'll put the answer in. But
Thank you.
yeah, they do. It's like a combination of bands starting with the and bands or acts that like the first word of their name is has THE to start off with. Thelonious Monk, for example.
Exactly.
They Might Be Giants, for example.
That's a good theme. I enjoy that
Which
one.
I thought
That's
was
really
fun.
good. I know I've now lost quite a few points, but it's fine.
Yes, this was They Might Be Giants. The song is called When Will You Die, which is nice.
2011. I'm not right.
I mean, here's the thing. This is what I was going to say is because they're a band who continue to make music. Every now and then you get a They Might Be Giants banger post like 1994 or something, right? When in my opinion they had their best albums. And this is sort of that because this is off of an album called Join Us, which it's decent. I find that with a lot of the newer They Might Be Giants albums it's harder to, well, I just don't like the albums as much.
Okay.
But there are songs in it like this which you listen to and you go, I can't help but not like this song.
Yeah.
I appreciate John Linnell's committing to the bit when it comes to songwriting.
Yeah.
There's never a line that's not related to the song. Basically, each line is, as you say, him asking, "When will you die?"
Yeah.
It's very good. I appreciate there's one bit where he sings, "I know how, I know why, I know every part of your comeuppance, except for the one remaining piece of the puzzle, which is when you'll die."
Yes.
And then the best one is just where he just, it's like he's doing a diss track. He goes, "You're insane, you're bad, you wreck everything you touch, and you're a sociopath." Such a good one.
When will you die? Yes.
It's just, yeah, man. I mean, this is why I love them, because they commit to something so hard that the song becomes incredibly endearing. I don't know who it's meant to be about. I presume it's just a hypothetically horrible person.
I suppose
that they're thinking of.
For a long time listening to these, I thought an option 4 theme. It's why I said things ending initially.
Oh yes.
I thought it was all about relationship problems, all of it.
I get that. Yeah. Looking at some of the other ones, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh yeah. There is quite a few that mention that. Yeah. Fair enough. I didn't realise that.
I thought you double bluffed me. I thought it was intentional.
Yeah, I still love They Might Be Giants. I'm sort of slowly getting towards the end of their stuff
tour.
now. Yeah, at the end of the tour. I'm glad you remember that song. It's a banger. Makes me cry though.
The best ones do.
Yeah. I don't have anything more to add to what I've said about them previously. They're still great. Do listen to them. When we were playing at the Spice Flies last time, there was another act called Archie Shuttler.
Shout out Archie.
Shout out Archie. Yeah, he reminded me a lot of They Might Be Giants. Not so much in terms of sound.
He kept asking us when we were going to die. That was it.
But in terms of his set was very fun. They're not taking themselves seriously. Yeah. And I found his lyrical style to be very endearing.
Yes.
And those were the main comparisons for me, and I quite liked it. But,
I agree.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. And you get 3 points.
Juicy.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
That's a good round for you.
Yes, it was. Downhill from here, though, now that I know the theme. I'm not going to cheat and start changing what I've written.
Well, I don't know if mine's ever going to go uphill, if I'm being honest.
Oh, no. You don't have to give me it just because we lost a recording of me actually winning.
Well, I was saying this to you before we started recording. I don't think I'm happy with any of these answers. Like, there's some interesting names that I've put, but usually when I have some of these, I listen to some where I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is who this is, but none of them I found that with.
Okay. I'll say nothing.
This was a difficult one. Again, it reminded me of I can't remember his name, but the singer from Stereophonics. That bemusement from you.
Listen, I'm a very good actor.
Well, I got to give it to you. Is the name that I put for this Alt Rock 2007. was my
When
guess.
you were not in the mood. Okay, this is a band called Catfish and the Bottlemen. Yes.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Who had a very successful radio-friendly alt-rock, indie rock period, sort of 2015 to 2016 maybe. They were unavoidable.
Yeah.
I have no idea where they are currently. This was a time when I was, in my youthful naivety, I was very content to accept that what was played on the radio was the peak of any music I was ever going to discover.
Why else would it be on the radio?
Exactly. So for me, this was a secondary school Fred bop. This was I enjoyed Catfish and the Bottlemen. Although you've spoken to me about this before, when you come back to certain songs, and in your maturity, you can still enjoy listening to them, and it can remind you of a time when it was much simpler. But you look back on it now and go, "Oh, why does he say that thing? Why was I content with him saying those things?" I like in this one, like, you know, saying stuff like, "Oh, I've got to give it to you. You give me problems when you're not in the mood." There's only one thing he's talking about. Our dealer hates me, you know. Does he? It's just very typical of that time and genre.
I think so, yeah.
Which is fair. I've got no issue with that, no qualms. I like this song still. I will still happily listen to it. I'm going to give you a point for the genre.
Thank you.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it. Yeah, I didn't. I know they had some songs on FIFA. I can't remember. There was one which went something like, "Forget it if they talk.
Yes, forget
it if they try and get to us. Yeah, to bind and let you down." Can't remember the name of it, but I quite like that. And then I realised that the expleted version was, well, F it if they
exactly.
die.
Yeah. But to be honest with you, I prefer the clean one rhythmically. I find that with the expletive, the rhythm is much bumpier.
Yeah.
I just think I don't know if it was necessary initially. You know.
Yeah.
I understand the intent, but yeah. Okay, so I now know that this band is wrong, so we can move on from it. Keep having to change tabs here because once again I am so stubborn. I will never copy and paste it in. I will always type it out by hand because it feels more genuine. I suppose what I can tell you as I type this, one of the genres I've put is space rock revival for your one here. The reason why I put space rock revival is because I have recently done about 4 albums and I'm content to leave it there by Spiritualized.
Yeah.
And when you look it up on websites such as Rate Your Music, it says space rock, but then also space rock revival. And so I'll go, yeah, okay.
Sure.
And I don't think it sounds dissimilar, this. So I said it was Stereolab. Still haven't listened to them. Don't know what they sound like. Had to shoot something. Sunbeams and Starlights. I don't know if both of those are words. 1993, space rock revival or psych rock.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't listened to too much Stereolab outside of the one album, Dots and Loops. I'm not sure if their sound, I remember thinking about it, reminds me of sort of like, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but like a university dissertation with sort of what it's sort of trying to do.
Oh, okay.
Because you've got a lot of different stylistic stuff going on, and the singer won't often sing in the same language.
Oh,
and it feels like a lot
weird.
of people from different walks of life meeting somewhere and making music, which I could only chalk up to university.
Yes,
Right.
okay.
So it reminds me of that. Again, don't mean any malice by it. I love Miss Modular. This was the Flaming Lips.
The Flaming Lips. Now, this is the first time we've encountered them on here, isn't it?
I don't know. I think I might have used them before.
Okay.
I think I might have used them before. I think this is the first one I've used off of Yoshimi, Battles of Pink Robots.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
This is called Fight Test.
Another one
It's-
I've been beaten to. It's fine. Get over it.
Hey man, my uni lecturer was telling me to listen to Flaming Lips back in 2021, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay. This is one I was always going to lose. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's called Fight Test. It's the first off of the album, Psych Rock. That's them generally, really, I think.
Sure.
Psych Rock. But it's hard because, again, something like psych rock can be so broad, and it can either be reflecting on 60s psychedelic stuff, or it can be something, I guess, fresher like this that feels more 90s sort of influenced indie sort of stuff. But 2002 is when it came out. I have a confession that I struggle to get into the Flaming Lips, which is annoying because I like psych rock, and generally I find that a lot of their songs I do enjoy.
Yeah.
But when it comes to albums, there's just always something that's stopping me, and I don't really know what it is.
Okay.
It might be the singer. I'm not too keen on his voice. I think sometimes it's not. It can be a little pitchy, and just not as. Because there's probably a lot of people who really like his voice, and they say he's got a nice sort of tone to his voice.
I know they've got a huge cult following. Flaming Lips. Yeah.
And I'm not massive on it, so maybe that's why. But again, the music behind it I think is really cool. I enjoy the synth sort of stuff on it because it makes me think of that is probably the Pink Robots.
That's cool. That's cool.
There's sort of that sort of stuff all over this album, to be fair. So, it's fun. I'm not sure to what extent this album is conceptual. It's got references to it, and I guess it's conceptual to a point. But
sure.
I feel like with these sort of conceptual albums, it always feels like they can go further. But I don't know. I can't remember much of it. I need to re-listen to it. I'll leave it there, and you can have a point.
Uno point
for psych rock.
Sad, but thank you.
Right. I remember you mentioned that I gave you a jazz one, and in the back of my mind, I was thinking, "Wow, I remember your fourth one."
Yeah.
Which is, I presume it's a bass guitar being played, just like a solo bass guitar piece, and they're playing a lot of sort of harmonic stuff.
Yes.
And it sounds really nice and cool, and it reminded me a lot of a jazz guitarist called Pat Metheny. I'm not sure how liked he is, because I think he was one of the musicians who a little bit like what was it? Someone like I don't know if it was Wynton Marsalis, who wanted. It was around the 80s sort of time. There were a lot of jazz musicians who wanted jazz to continue evolving, and I think they looked down on musicians like Kenny G for having a very popularized sort of style to it, and other musicians like Miles Davis as well, who at that point had his style was very influenced by the popular music around that time.
Yes.
I think Pat Metheny was one of those. I'm not too sure, but I've heard some of his guitar stuff before, and I like it, and I think it's all right. So I look beyond that. I called it Harmony.
Sure.
For obvious reasons. It was used harmonics.
Yeah.
Just to spell it out for you if you wanted. Jazz, probably wrong. 1987.
Okay.
Was the guess.
This is a man who is even perhaps idolized by some bassists.
Sure.
Go that far. He's called Jaco Pastorius.
Being a bassist, I am ashamed I've not heard of him.
Well, this is the only song of his I personally know, and I can't remember how I found it. I found it a year or two ago. It's always been in the bank. It is, for me, one of the most impressive solo pieces of anything I've heard, outside of a classical sense anyway. Bless you.
Thank you.
I didn't know a bass could produce like jazz fusion harmonic sounds. I didn't know, like he plays anyway. I just didn't know that. That's now your challenge. Learn this.
Goodness.
I've got my birthday on 30th of July. That would make a lovely gift. Thank you. You've got about 2 months.
All right.
1976. Did I say it was called Portrait of Tracy? I don't know if I did. Portrait of Tracy. 1976. Jazz fusion. I probably should listen to the whole album this is off of, because it seems to be revered. I just think it's quite a special little solo number.
Yeah.
Deservingly so. I genuinely don't have much more to say other than if you are listening to us talk about it and you're like, solo bass piece with harmonics, how does that work? It does. Find it and listen to it. Portrait of Tracy. Find it. I'll give you 1 point for chat.
Cheers.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Hard one. But
It was a hard one, I apologise.
That's fine. Now I know more about Draco Pastorius.
Cool name.
Very close to
I know what you're
remember
going
that
to
kid's
say.
name.
I know what you're going to say.
Was his name like Jacob Pastorius?
I think it was.
Yeah. Like one letter off.
Much less likeable, I would say. Now, this for me, your next one here is going to be the somethings. I think. At one point, it could be the band, and if it is the band, I will cry because I didn't put the band. I put the Doobie Brothers because I heard a piano and I thought they like a piano.
Okay, yeah.
Genuinely, all I know is What a Fool Believes. Top 50 song of all time, maybe. I said it was called She Receives, 1972, and I said blues rock.
Nice. This is
The band.
not the. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I tell myself this countless times, and yet I always seem to go against it. Go with your gut. I don't know why I didn't.
Yeah.
Go with your gut.
This is also off of Music from the Big Pink, I think is the name of the album, which has the popular song called The Weight. Yes,
The
which I love. It's a great song. I like this song too because it's cool. Because the guy who plays organ,
I like this song because it's cool.
The guy who plays organ says, "I don't care how muddy this sounds. I'm just going to play the very low notes."
Well, you could,
and it sounds very cool.
Well, yeah, I think it's great. I love the way the organ came in. It was lovely.
It's awesome, and I like it. And I think it's quite different. It's nice when you come across those songs on albums you generally understand, and then they're just so incredibly different. And this is what that song feels like to me. The organ work is cool. I do like the band. I think they're decent. I'm sort of slowly trying to suss out what your your one is, and I don't think I can. I'm gonna have to see what else I had in the bank for guesses wise. But yeah, it's called Chest Fever. This song. I put folk rock, blues rock. That's sort of the band in essence, really.
Yeah.
1968.
We're in there.
You are, yeah, just, yeah. 2 points for you. I don't have too much more to say about it. I just like the song.
I think a very good sign of maturity as a listener of music, musician, whatever, is coming to terms with the fact that the band being called the band, whilst amusing, is not really as confusing as you think it is the first time you see it. They're called the band, so what?
Yeah.
They're called the band.
They're from Canada, so they may as well just have been the band.
The only band from Canada.
Oh goodness me! It's like reading down the list of like a menu from a restaurant you just do not like the food of when it comes to my
Well,
answers.
I'm hoping you actually enjoyed listening to them.
They were nice music, yeah. I just had no gauge on what it was. Yeah, I don't think I can guess. I can guess a theme. I'm struggling. I think this was called Punch and Judy. I know there's a song by the Lightning Seeds called that, but I'm pretty sure this doesn't sound like that. It definitely doesn't sound like what's his name, Ian Broody. Pop, 1991. Ignore the fact that I put the specials out as a placeholder.
That's fine. I mean, you know what? It's not a million miles away when you put the specials up. It's the Stranglers.
Oh.
This is off Oral Sculpture. as in the album with the big ear on the front.
big ear, yeah.
Punch and Judy, rightly so. 1984, you're just out, unfortunately.
It is a shame.
I said new wave. For me, new wave is, in many ways, it's like alt rock in that it's a wishy-washy placeholder for when you're not too sure of what the genre is. Sometimes
Okay.
you can't say anything more specific than that. What do you mean? It's from the 80s. It's new wave. Oh, duh. Yeah, I just quite like this album. This is a you inherit certain tastes and albums from your parents.
Yeah.
This is one inherited from my father. It's just belter after belter, in my opinion, and that's when you know it's a good album. You can't argue. You can't argue. It's just one I haven't used off of the album yet, so we are using it here, and it fits the ever elusive theme. So why not?
Yeah.
When I did say, Dad, I said to my dad, I could use this one. And Dad went, oh, how have you thought of... He'll never get that, Fred. And I'm not cruel. And because I'm not cruel, I will give you 2 points.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I now think I know, finally.
Oh, okay,
what
have
your theme
a
is.
go.
The titles have names of women in them.
Let's go!
Yeah.
They've all got ladies in them.
It took me a while, but yes.
Excellent work, well done.
There you go. So is that 2 points extra for me?
2 + 2, yes.
Appreciate it. All right, now we've got that out of the way, I can stop worrying about it.
And the distraction fades away.
All right. It's your turn to guess, I do believe.
It is my turn to guess. Sorry,
It's all right.
I neglected that I had to keep speaking. It seems to be a trope of podcasts, talking.
They do that, don't they? I wonder.
So again, I now know this is wrong unless it's a Joker. I don't think we've had your Joker yet. Well, no, we haven't. Have they all been theirs? Yes, so far they have all been theirs. Yes. I don't know of... It sounded like the ever looming ghost of Ye.
The man.
The man, the myth, I was going to say just clown. I think for purposes of he clowns himself, and also from an outside perspective, you don't think too seriously about what he's actually doing and saying. It's amusing. It could be the Joker. I've listened to all of his stuff, and I didn't recognise this song. And I have listened to the Kid See Ghosts album, the collaboration between him and is it Kid Cudi?
Kid Cudi, yeah.
Kid Cudi, yeah.
I really enjoy how you said Cudi there for some reason.
Sorry. Cudi.
Kid Cootie.
Kid Could He? I don't know. Or Kid Cutie, yes. Yeah.
Kid Cute. Oh.
Oh, God. Moving on. So I have listened to the Kid See Ghosts album, but that was a long time ago, and I wasn't all that fond of it personally, so I can't really remember much of it. So it could be off of that, which is what I said. I said Can't Stop was what it was called, 2020, and Hip Hop.
Hip Hop. This is a song featuring Kanye West, which
No!
is probably what made it confusing for you. Don't know if you ever heard of the artist.
Is he related to you?
He's not. He might be a long lost, cousin somewhere along the line. His name is Theophilus London.
What a...
Yeah, it's not like a stage name as well. That's genuinely his name.
Theophilus London.
Which is cool.
Amazing.
Yeah, it is called Can't Stop, as you said. Featuring Kanye West,
Cool.
however. Hip-hop/R&B. 2014 was when it came out. I haven't listened to much Theophilus London. I know that he's had some collabs with people like Tame Impala before.
That's cool.
And that's cool, yeah. He just always seems to be one of those artists who's just sort of looming around. But I never end up listening to a lot of his own stuff. This track I enjoyed. I thought was cool. I like the way that he sort of says "can't stop," but it's like as if it's being sampled.
Yes, yeah, that is cool.
Being redone, which is cool.
Did have a great line in there that I singled out.
Oh
What
yes,
was it?
was it by Kanye?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, something along the lines of if
there's no hose at the party, my intro's my outro, or something.
Shakespeare quivers.
Yeah, which I think I mentioned to you. I'm pretty sure he's married by that point. So don't really know what he means by that, but
you know exactly what he means by that.
I don't have too much more to say on it. It feels weird calling him Theophilus London. For some reason, it just doesn't roll off the tongue for some reason for me. It feels like I should.
Are you jealous? Do you want to be called Theophilus?
I mean,
London?
I have the name London anyway, which I'm happy about. But Theophilus is 100% an upgrade on Chris, I would have to say.
Look, I like the name Chris.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I don't have too much to say other than I'm pretty sure he went missing for a portion of time a couple of years ago.
Missing?
Yeah,
like a missing person.
Yeah,
missing.
yeah. He was reported missing. Yeah, he was found.
Okay.
But I think it was his mum that said, "We don't know where you are. Please tell me." And then he was found. I don't think there was anything malicious.
Yeah, untoward.
No. Although I may look this up afterwards and find out that something gruesome. But no, I think he's okay now.
Good.
He's chilling.
Good.
I want to say he's from Trinidad and Tobago.
I've looked it up. He seems to be so. Yes.
Which is cool. There's a guy at my church from Trinidad and Tobago, also called Chris, weirdly.
Let me tell you, my network of Chris's is ludicrous. There are so many.
Yeah, ludicrous. You said it yourself, mate.
Keep him out of this.
Yeah, that's the answer. You can have 2 points.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's all right. What did I get for Punch and Judy? Sorry, I can't remember.
DOS.
Cheers, appreciate it. 2 points is kind. On to the next one. I'm looking at all of the names of the songs that I've put for the rest of them, and I've realised that I'm not getting any more points for that.
Oh, okay,
So-
sorry.
Don't apologise to me. I should be apologising to
I've had the same
myself.
realisation. Sorry.
I thought this one sounded like... It didn't sound like Lou Reed, but it sounded like a Lou Reed song, if that makes sense. So I just put Lou Reed, When I'm Older, Soft Rock, 1975. Because it had that noise in the background. It
did.
had that noise, which led me to believe it was from a time with shakier recording equipment.
You're gonna be a tidbit frustrated.
Yeah, I was.
Lou Reed.
I think I've listened to that album. Is that from the Banana album?
No.
Okay, I
This
haven't
is
listened to the album.
from the same one as After Hours, Velvet Underground by the Velvet Underground.
Yeah.
This is the opening track.
Mm-hmm.
This is called Candy Says, about an individual called Candy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me look this up because I don't want to say the wrong thing here. So, yeah, okay, right. So Wikipedia says it, so it must be true. It is written in the voice of a female character, right?
Mm-hmm.
A transgender female
I see.
character. Because it's about escaping. It's about finding your identity, escaping the one that you don't feel attached to. What Candy says, I've come to hate this body and all that it requires of me. Something like that. Yeah, then there's something about bluebirds flying at some point as a symbol for freedom and everything.
Yeah.
Lou Reed seems to have a trend, though, of being ahead of the game with that sort of writing and an openness to transgender experiences.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the lyrics of... now, what's this? Yes, the opening verse to Walk on the Wild Side. Holly came from Miami, FLA, hitchhiked her way across the USA, plucked her eyebrows on the way, shaved her legs, and then he was a she. So there you go. I think it's testament to how perhaps ahead of the game he was as a lyricist
Yeah.
in the late 60s, early 70s, that he was writing about people as subject matter that, on the most part, mainstream musicians just shied away from.
Yeah.
Individuals like this were not in the public eye.
Yeah.
Or if they were pushed out of it, sort of thing, right? So that's another win for Lou Reed in my book, championing voices that need to be heard.
Yeah.
And also, it's just a very pretty song. It's a
Yeah.
very pretty. There's a lot of very pretty stuff on that third Velvet Underground album. I think the first three are all so consistent. I really struggle to rank them. If you ask me today, I'll put them in an order that will change tomorrow, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I think all of them are worth a listen. I'm going to give you... We've set up a precedent before of half points. I'm going to give you a point for the genre.
Cheers.
I'm going to give you half a point for Lou Reed because it is him,
Oh, okay.
but he's surrounded by other fellows.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I might get one of them right, 'cause I'm pretty sure we haven't had your Joker yet, have we?
No, we
Okay,
haven't.
Well, I might get one of the song titles right in that
Okay,
case.
we still haven't had yours either.
We'll see, we haven't had mine, no.
This was a bit dancey, which is why I said it was dance, genre-wise. But then I just put electronic after that as well. I didn't know. I said to you whilst we were doing the actual listening, there are a few confident guesses. So guesses I think are valid, and I'm not going to cry about if I get it wrong. I said LCD Sound System. Like You Never Met Me, 2003, Dance. I don't know why electronic isn't there, but yeah.
Okay, sorry, it's done this weird thing where it has a line above and below with nothing on it when I type in the answer.
Oh,
So,
okay.
this is by... this is my Joker, by the way.
Oh.
This is by a band called...
Oh, he's
Don't suppose
beaten me to 2. I'm suffering. Oh.
Yeah, no, this is by TV Girl, who are a band.
They are. It's not just a lady.
I don't think there's any ladies.
There you go.
The song is called Do Thee, Act Like You Never Knew Me. Do Thee is in brackets.
Mm-hmm.
I put hypnagogic pop. I think on their Spotify they say hypnotic pop.
Hypnotic.
But I put hypnagogic because I think that's vaguely more accepted as a genre. Slash indie pop. Came out in 2016. Now, let's talk a little bit about TV Girl, shall we?
Yeah, I'm yet to arrive there. So
Yeah. Well, do you know sort of where they got sort of popular?
has it not been quite recent? They've had a
It
bit of a
feels
boom
like it's recent, yeah.
Is it a social media thing? Is it a TV thing?
Yeah, they're big on TikTok.
Okay, well there
Yeah.
you go.
I mean, it, as I say, it does feel like it's a more recent thing because I've only seen, clips of the album that this is off of recently.
Sure.
This is off of an album called Who Really Cares, which you probably
I
recognise
recognise the cover, yeah.
Which again came out in 2016. I haven't seen it until recently, so I don't know if it's just got popular, if it was popular back then, and now it's, now that TikTok's getting bigger, people
Not for us.
that. People who use that are enjoying it. I'd like to start by saying I absolutely adore the production.
Okay.
And stuff that isn't the singing.
Okay.
It's
There's an implication there, I feel.
well, I mean, we'll start with the music.
Sure.
So it's very inspired by like 90s turntablism.
Yes.
And also sort of vaporwave.
That's cool.
And
That's quite cool.
I think the main guys had like a vaporwave side project called Bloodbath 64 recently or something. So it shows that they're into that sort of thing. And I think that's been sick. It sounds awesome. It's really good. You don't get it in this track, but in a lot of the others, they take like vocal samples from things and then use it and integrate it within the stuff, which is, again, very sort of 90s hip-hop sort of stuff, which is awesome. And what I like is a lot of the time there'll be vocal samples based on something else, like what they're saying.
Cool.
But they manage to integrate it within the music, and the music's all based on love, right?
Sure.
So there's the first track on it, which I really like, which is called "Taking What's Not Yours." They take a vocal sample which says "taking, stealing what's not yours," and the premise of the track is leaving things at a significant other's place.
Okay.
And then after the relationship's over, not having it anymore because you can't go back and ask for it.
Okay.
So it's like they've taken it.
Well, it's an interesting conceit, I suppose.
That's the thing. That's the thing I find with a lot of this guy's writing is you get a lot of interesting ways of writing a love song. The second track, I think, is the biggest example of this. It's called "Song About Me," and the whole point is meant to be writing a song from the perspective of having someone written like a breakup song about you or something.
See, that sounds really fascinating.
Which is an interesting
it's
concept.
like a loop around.
Yeah, exactly. It's not something I think a lot of people have done, but I think for me this is the biggest drawback of it is you get really interesting concepts like this, and it really works with being able to introduce the vocal samples with it, because they can be a little bit more unspecific and work with the song, which is really cool. But the way this guy writes, I mean, I think I mentioned earlier how much I appreciate the writing of someone like John Linnell, where he's so incredibly specific all the time and on it. It feels like a lot of how this guy writes is you might have a good concept, but he doesn't stick to it, and sometimes it wavers. The best example is "Song About You," because the first verse is to do with having someone write a song about you.
Yes.
It's all quite surface level, admittedly. He's not going quite deep with it, which is what you quite like to do. And then in the second verse, for some reason, just gets weirdly specific about details of being with a woman. And it's like, sometimes it's endearing, but not when you do it, mate.
But listen, let me very briefly, I'll read you on the Rate Your Music review page for this album, the top thing, which says, "TV girl write about anything other than Bushwick girls having casual sex challenge, failed." It is the top review.
Yeah. It's not a Rate Your Music album by any stretch.
Yeah.
Because, as I said, the lyrics aren't... Well, I mean, I don't even think he's like an awful
bad,
lyricist.
yeah.
It's just he's very inconsistent.
Okay.
You have bits where you think, this is actually, decent. It's not bad. But he just manages to outdo himself sometimes. I think in the song "Not Allowed," he does use the phrase, "Did he ever make you cum?" Which is there's I want to say there's ways of integrating that into music and making it endearing. I think people like Anderson .Paak for the way he writes about that sort of stuff. I don't really, but the thing is, this guy fails to do that. Most definitely.
Yeah, Anderson .Paak stuff is not for me. I think I don't really like music in general that's overtly like that. But I think the reason why I don't mind Anderson .Paak doing it is because he is incredibly suave and charming.
He's got a brilliant swag about him.
Exactly, yeah.
And his voice is also brilliant. This guy's voice is decent at best.
Oh dear.
I mean, you heard it in the track. You don't have a bad voice, but if you combine that with good lyricism, then you've got a good songwriter. But
sorry, Brad Petering. Sorry.
Yeah. I heard things about him being a bit of a weird chap as well, but I think it's just a lot of people wanting to dislike him.
I see. Yeah, one of them.
Him actually not being a good chap. But
okay.
Yeah. Well, one thing that strikes me so much about it is it feels and sounds so juvenile because of how he sings. It feels like a teenage love sort of record. This guy's not young. Like he's in his, I want to say he's in his like 30s or something. Like he's not a young chap. It feels weird to be writing about it like you were. It's as if you haven't aged since you were a teenager.
Yes.
It brings a very weird atmosphere, and I think that's why it's gone down so well on places like TikTok, because it caters to that sort of crowd, which I totally understand.
Yeah, of
and
course.
That's cool.
Of course.
I think
we've spoken about it before as well, where we're allowed to really enjoy the music for the way it sounds and nothing more.
Yeah,
that's perfectly fine.
Of course, yeah. And you can look past lyrics and stuff, and I do that for the most part with this album because, as I say, I think the production and backing of it is all awesome. And to be fair to the singer, I'm pretty sure he has a lot of input in there.
Yeah.
So this song is my favourite because the production is banging. I also like the way they put in the concept of love into this one again, because it's the idea of, I guess, being post-breakup, being around this person. It's as if they never knew you whatsoever.
Yeah,
Like,
that's cool.
Act like you never knew me. Name of the title, right? Yeah, and it's this sort of bit. This is towards the end of the track, the extract that I gave you, and he's sort of describing the act of acting like you never knew someone, as if it were like a dance trend or something.
That's cool.
Popular thing, which is interesting. It's not too bad, you know. I'm trying to give him props where I can ultimately, but I think for me the thing that I think that works nicely with it is because they are a band who are very popular on things like social media. It's cool that they have songs like this, which are very clearly. I guess they would have, you know, been more popular recently, but it sort of connects those two worlds because it's like they're sort of proto acknowledging that they're like a popular social media TikTok sort of band. But, which I think there are some people that don't like that sort of aspect. Just make your music. Don't focus on the fact that
I don't know enough about
popular
them to do
that
that.
sort
I
of
suppose
stuff.
it can come across as narcissistic, but
maybe. From what I've seen, it doesn't bother me. But I plan to listen to a lot more of their stuff because again, I love their sound. I think it's awesome. With the samples are decently broad as well, which I love. You know, it's not all like the same style of samples. There are some samples which you'd probably find on like a Tribe Called Quest album as well.
that's quite cool.
Which is cool.
That's really cool.
Really good. Definitely listen to it. A lot of their albums aren't too long, so you're not taking out too much time of your day. I'll give you a point for the title.
That's kind. Thank you.
Remind myself of the thing as well, because I don't think I said it. TV Girl, Do the Act Like You Never Knew Me, Hypnagogic Pop, Indie Pop 2016 was when it came out.
Cool.
And this was my joker because it doesn't start with THE in the name
just
of
starts
the
with
artist.
T.
TV. Yeah. Indeed. Anyway, after that.
It's always nice to learn about the new ventures each other have been on musically.
Yeah, I suppose that's a good amount of this game generally, I guess. So that's cool. Right. I noticed that there was a woman singing this.
There was a lady, yes.
And I wasn't sure who, but it felt like, I don't know, like 2000s alt rock sort of stuff. I guess PJ Harvey. I Don't Want to Be Alone is the name of the song, I believe. Alt rock 2005.
This was my joker.
Cool. Joseph.
It's by this. I found it amusing as a choice for Joker because all the songs have female names in the title, and the Joker it's 3 women, and they call themselves Joseph. So I found that
that's fun.
somewhat witty. I don't have much to say about this. I think it's quite. I like the spirit. I like the energy in this song. I like their harmony parts as well. I think they're quite nice. It's got a lot of oomph to it. What I will say is I only know that this song exists. I don't know anything else about these guys other than this one song because I remember watching it on Jules Holland once.
Oh, cool.
Jules Holland, pianist for Squeeze.
Indeed.
The most successful Squeeze member to date. Sorry, Glenn. But yeah, they did it live, and I was fairly impressed. I thought it was a really good live performance. The spirit and the energy and the power in the recording translated, symmetrically live.
Okay.
It was like one of them where you think, oh no, you guys are proper because I can tell that you can do a live show that's as good as a process produced album sort of thing. This is good. That's genuinely it. That's genuinely it. I don't have anything more to say.
Yeah.
A much shorter entry.
Yeah.
I'll give you 1 point for the genre.
Cheers.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I mean, I guess it's something that we've probably struggled with. It's quite hard to have your live set reflect what your music is like a lot of the time, it feels.
Yes.
Especially for us, if you don't have facilities for a lot of the instruments.
If you can't get your iPad to work and figure out how to make drum loops on it, yes. If anyone here happens to be a tech buff, specifically with Apple products, I have tried everything. I cannot hack into it. I can't do it. And don't say, oh, just use a passcode. I can't. I'm locked out. Unhelpful.
That is the issue.
Yes.
You don't know the passcode and can't get back on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because basically it was bought for me as a birthday present many years ago. And then some years after that, my sister just laid claim to it. And it took up squatter residency in her bedroom, deep in the murky filth of it. That's not fair. She's not dirty. And then only recently when we said, oh, our drum machine is broken, the iPad could work. And I went, okay, well, I'll see if I can find it. And I did. Dad and I, we got it charged. He found the cable to connect it up. Much to Mum's surprise, I think she forgot it even existed. And I've tried everything. I can't get into it. It's fine. It's fine. It was only, it was only my birthday present and no one else's, but it's fine. Anyway, so I know this is wrong, but it's fine. I said James Blake, another educated guess that I am content with probably not being right. I know it's not now. On hold, 2021, R&B electronic time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Sure. This is...
I'm going to start with the
XX.
The XX! Oh, brilliant. Okay. Yes.
It's called On Hold.
Mm.
As you said, up at indie rock. I'll give you electronic R&B.
That's kind. Thank you.
Fair. 2017. You're just out on the year though.
Well, you've had a few. I won't mope.
Yeah, I'm not. Once again, I'm not massive on the XX. They're okay. I thought they. I'm just not into their music really.
Mm-hmm.
I like the producer Jamie XX though. I think
yes, I was going to say yes, Jamie XX.
I've listened to some of his stuff and it's pretty cool, pretty interesting beat maker. And it is, I guess it's quite nice that you have someone like that integrated in a project like this, where a lot of it is, I guess, indie based, but you have someone that is a brilliant beat maker and is putting that sort of stuff into their music too. And for me, this is the best example of that because they sample I Can't Go For That by Hall & Oates.
Yes, I think you're right. Yes.
Which I love. That's a brilliant song. And his integration of the sample as well is cool, and it's not like a lot of stuff I've used before. Like it's quite evident what the sample is, but that's not really the point. It's how the way he uses it and creates. I guess it's sort of like a texture, but it's. I've no way of describing it and making it sound good. I just like the way that he's used the sample. Yeah, I'll leave it there. You could tell that it was British, though.
I could definitely tell it was British.
An air of Britishness about it. But 2 points for you.
Thank you, sir. We have no 4-pointers this guy. I suppose we may well not have any 4-pointers anymore.
No, I suppose not.
Yeah.
It's just, I would say one where I guess you're not going to get many, but it also feels weird that we don't at the same time.
Yeah.
There's nothing particularly...
Are we getting worse? Is this it?
Doesn't feel like there's anything particularly different, but yeah. Couldn't tell this was... I made a random guess of Duran Duran. I can't remember why. All Over Town is what I guessed the name to be. New Wave.
Yeah.
Again, a broad term to hopefully keep the points. 1985 was when I thought it came out.
Yeah, I'll give you 2 points for that.
Cheers.
This is Squeeze. I teased you with it.
yeah.
Jules Holland. Haha. Yes, this is. I think this is a non-album single.
Mhm.
And this was another very, very late brainwave that I said to Dad, "Oh, what about Annie Get Your Gun by Squeeze?" And Dad was like, "Oh, you've smashed it, mate." And I was like, "Well, I'm definitely using that." This is a Squeeze banger. I genuinely, I can't describe it any other way. This is just a good song. It's fun. You telling me you're not getting hyped when he goes, her paint's all over town, and you go, where's he going? And he goes, what's that you're playing? Annie, get your gun. And the chorus is coming out. You're like, whoa, where are these guys doing backing vocals? Come, what's going on? It's great. It's a lot of fun. As much as Squeeze's music is, just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If I haven't yet convinced people to get on the Squeeze train, I don't know what more to do. That might be it. I think it's not an album single. I think, but it's like this top 10 Squeeze song. This is excellent. I had a period of time in like 2022 maybe where this was a regular in the playlist. That was a good time. Back when I was happier. Anyway, 2 points.
Cheers.
I almost said DOS again, but then I thought, I think that's quite a white thing to do. Just randomly say numbers in a different language.
I think it is. Yeah, I've never noticed any other cultures to do that. Just randomly start saying.
I don't want to fulfill a stereotype. I don't want to do that.
Sure.
I'm better than that.
Sure. I wouldn't say it's a bad stereotype.
No, definitely not. There are other white stereotypes I could fulfill.
True.
I'm not racist.
I don't know what I just pressed. Yeah.
The stop record button out of embarrassment for what I just said. Yes, so once again, I know this is wrong, and these last two in particular, artist-wise, I'm going to be really frustrated with the answer because I think I know, I recognise the voices. It's not the Verve, is it? It's too late now. If it's the Verve, it's too late.
Well, you
now.
haven't put the answer in, so you're more than welcome to put what you want.
No, but that feels unfair. I mean, it's probably not the Verve anyway, but I can't remember it entirely. No, Richard Ashcroft has a deeper voice. Either way, I'm not a cheat. I originally put James.
Oh, that's a nice guess.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's a very good guess.
I was racking my brains like 90s alt folk kind of sound where the voice sounded a bit similar. And in the back of my mind, I just had, Sit Down just ringing out, which is a belter.
Yeah.
And it's the best I could come up with. I think it's a pretty good guess.
Yeah, it is a good guess, yeah.
Thank you. I said I'm Coming Home, 1997, alt rock, folk rock.
Nice.
That kind of 90s sound.
I'm not sure how popular this band were. They may have just had, the one hit maybe.
Do I recognise that? I don't know.
So you've got the undertones, you've got the Deftones, and now you've got the Blue Tones.
All of the tones. All of the tones.
It's called Slight Return. Bit cheeky because they don't have it in the song, but it
happens.
They allude to it by saying "I'm coming home."
Sure.
Alt rock, indie rock, 1996. This is like. It reminds me a lot of the Stone Roses.
Yeah,
who I enjoy
that's definitely valid. Yeah.
Like a more like indie version of the Stone Roses, I guess. Very much reminds me of Bye Bye Bad Man.
Bye Bye
Which is a
Bad
great
Man.
song.
Bye
Bye Bye. Which ironically is probably the opposite of this song, where they sing "I'm coming home."
Yeah.
So,
Bad Man comes home. Oh no.
Bye Bye.
Hello, Bad Man.
And I don't know much about the Blue Tones. This was just on a 90s playlist that I listened to.
Yeah, we love a 90s playlist.
It's the way that Spotify do it is they sort of recommend you stuff they think you'll like based on what you listen to. And then they curate playlists based on that. And for as much, slack as I probably give Spotify, I think that's a nice thing. So much like this, it introduces you to new music, which you probably wouldn't have found otherwise.
Sure.
sort of how I first found out about the magnetic fields as well, I think. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, just a nice song, you know.
Yeah. Sometimes it's okay to have a nice song, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's okay to listen to music that's not devastatingly sad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait until we come to ones I have to talk about later. Okay.
Well, this might have a very sad message, I'm not sure. But,
possibly.
Yeah, Slight Return, Alt Rock, Indie Rock 1996. I can never remember if I've properly said the answer, and I feel like we need to in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's 2 points for you.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Thank you.
This was, I remember, I can probably now say the first guess I was going to give
Okay.
for the theme, and that was that all of the artists are 3-letter acronyms. Because I thought that the first one might have been REM.
Oh, yes, okay, I see where you're going with this.
When we got to this one, I remember saying his falsetto reminds me a lot of Jeff Lynne's from ELO. So that's where I've put... it's not ELO, because outside of his falsetto, he doesn't sound like Jeff Lynne.
Yeah.
I guess it was called Born Again. I put Pop Jazz 2011. I feel like I'm cringing at every single answer I've given, but yeah.
Okay. This is a couple of lads called the Alessi brothers. I don't know if this is... I don't know if this is a shared experience across households, but every now and then your parents sort of whip out a song and the younger members of the house probably go, what on earth is this? This sounds silly. I don't like it.
Okay.
But then you sort of give it a month, you give it 2 months, and suddenly the whole house is bopping it. I don't know if this is a shared experience, but this happens quite a few times here. Dad has a tradition, likes to curate CDs of music for each birthday mine and my sister have, until one of us eventually says stop. I think he's presuming I'm saying stop now because I'm an old man. But listen, it's a family tradition. I like it. And this was, I say this is the music I liked over the year. Can you please put this on a CD for me? And he will often put 2, 3, 4 of his own choices on there. And this was a father choice.
Cool.
A few years back. And Mum obviously knew the song as well. And so they were loving it. And initially I was like, why does he sound like that? Why is he so high pitched? I talk about making love in the meadows. I feel...
It's that country life, my friend.
Oh, well, you would know.
You're too much of a city boy.
I am. There are no meadows to make love in here. Making love on the M25. Yeah, no, but it's grown on me, and I know that it is very high pitched, and it's all quite swoony and vintage in that sense. But yeah, it's got a charm to it.
It is charming, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a good way of putting it.
It's called Oh Laurie. It was released in 1977. I put soft rock.
I did realise I put 2011, and I thought, well, that guess was all over the place.
You have gone from about 4 different directions, actually. You've done ELO, Born Again, which, funnily enough, is a Kanye West song title, I think. Pop Jazz, 2011. It is...
it's all over the place. You can tell where my head's at, just nowhere.
I'll give you a point.
Sure.
For the genre. Yeah, why not?
Might be the most strenuous whiteboard game point ever.
Okay, well listen, sure. I will never do it again. You get a free ride today.
Well,
ride.
This last answer is going to be very poor in that case.
The free ride.
I'm listening to this, aren't I? So.
So this one really bothered me, Chris. You know it really bothered me.
Sure. I apologise, but...
No. It bothered me, not for bad reasons, I suppose. I couldn't figure out who the lady was. It had all the DNA, right? As I said to you. Had all the DNA of a Cranberries song.
Yeah.
But I'm fairly certain that woman sounded very dainty and British, like English.
Okay.
but not Irish.
Yeah.
I don't think she sounded Irish. And the Cranberries are Irish.
Yeah.
So she's got a lovely voice, and it's so noticeable, her accent. So I don't think it was them. But I just couldn't figure it out. I feel like I know who it is, but I just couldn't. And I've run out of time to figure it out as well. So I said the Pretenders. It's not the Pretenders, but I said the Pretenders. When the Story Ends, 1997, alt rock.
Nice. This is no. I mean, it's something I thought because when I'm listening to it, I don't feel like the singer's English. She is English.
Yeah.
But like, and that's not to say I think she's Irish. I think she's Welsh. I think she's Scottish. I just don't think she's English.
Yeah.
But no, they're from Bristol. Weirdly.
Oh, don't say what I think.
They're called the Sundays.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Portishead after we had
this is
an
very,
interview moment. It's not Portishead at all.
Very un-Portishead,
Yeah.
this song. But yeah, it's called Here's Where the Story Ends. I put Jangle Pop because it reminded me of Cemetery Gates by
Yeah, that's fair.
the Smiths.
That's fair.
Indie rock, 1990 is when it came out.
Oh, that's earlier.
This very much like the exact last song, another Spotify 90s playlist.
They haven't got any correlation to the Saturdays, have they?
They don't, no, but they are better. I've heard a lot more Saturday songs than I have Sundays songs.
Yeah,
and
I think you're
can
right,
confirm that Sundays are probably better than
Harriet Wheeler.
Saturdays. Yeah, not a clue. Again, it's a nice song. It just plays when you're playing that playlist, and you go, I haven't heard this before, and I quite like it. I get that with a lot of 90s music. I think I've mentioned it before. That's probably one of my favourite decades of music. Got a lot of spicy stuff in there. Genuinely don't have much more to say. It reminds me of the Smiths, and as you say, the Cranberries.
Yes.
Very good point as well.
It might as well be Linger, you know.
It does have a Linger
It's got that acoustic guitar.
personality, yeah, which is nice. I genuinely don't have much more to say. It's the last song, and historically we like to spout prose on the last one, but
this time maybe not.
no. So I'll leave it there, and I'll tell you what, because you gave me a half point earlier, I'll give you 1.5 points.
Okay, thank you.
Because you said when the story ends, which is
did
close.
say that. It's close, but no cigar. That's very, very generous. Thank you. Before I do my answer, I'll ask you a question. Which of the songs in this did you come up with a theme before you started choosing, or was it the other way around?
I think I had. Let's see, which ones did I want to use? To be honest,
but this is what I'm asking, basically.
To be honest, not really any of them. I thought that I wanted to show you the TV Girl.
Yeah,
definitely, but that's a Joker, so I don't think that counts. They Might Be Giants was, I guess, a point of, using it. So I always like to use them.
Yeah.
Just the fact that I liked the idea as well, I think, was mainly it. I don't have much more on it. I do remember you mentioned that there was a song which you've had in the bank for a while and you haven't actually, mentioned for a long time.
I've done very well, because in the past it's normally come back to haunt me, that tactic, and you go, oh, by the way, if you listen to this, and I go, yes. Ugh.
But yeah, I didn't know what this was. It was very peculiar.
Peculiar is a very good word.
Yeah, the voice reminded me a lot of Mark Hollis from Talk Talk. But I've listened to almost every Talk Talk album and haven't heard this. And the one that I haven't listened to is the earliest one, and I doubt it would sound as peculiar, weirdly experimental as this. I don't know. Maybe it's like a weird Swans song or something. I'm not sure. I guess it was called Going Home. But I know now it's got a woman's name in it. Pop. It's so far removed from pop, but I couldn't put anything else. 1992.
Okay.
There you go.
So.
Prepare yourself.
It's been... No, because it is quite a satisfying feeling when you wait so long to talk about something on this game and the time comes. This is a man called Jamie Stewart.
Okay.
He is a member of, well, he's a member of a band. It was originally just him.
Mm-hmm.
This is very early days, so it was just him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always been under a name.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to mispronounce that name right now.
Okay.
But you'll still see it and you'll still know them.
Mm.
Shoo
Shoo.
Shoo.
I had that in my mind as soon as you said, I'm going to say it and mispronounce it.
Yeah.
And I thought,
Shoo.
Shoo.
This is the first album, which is called Knife Play, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Suho, which is, it's only a name because it says in the lyrics, my name is Suho.
Okay.
I'm 25 years old, so on and so forth. 2002, synth punk. When I saw that, I thought, you know what? That's it. that is it.
Okay.
Because otherwise, I was just going to put experimental and leave it there because I don't know.
Yeah.
So, where do I begin? I've done a lot of the albums from his discography.
Wow.
Their discography, a lot now. I'm done. I'm not going to do any more. I'm finished.
Sure.
It is weird.
Mm.
It's really odd. I'm gonna say I actually find it disappointing the way it evolves.
Okay.
I think, we've all heard that Fantano loves Go a Basket of Fruit, right?
Sure.
The purple one, the purple album. The title track on that is fantastic. I think it's genuinely fantastic. It's really tribal and aggressive, but it's fantastic. But I think you have the first two albums, and it shows this real sophistication in terms of being able to experiment and use still handle, because throughout the entire Shoo Shoo discography, it's like grotesque sounds, right? But the early albums, especially the first two for me, no, I'll change that, like the first 5 maybe, show a real sophistication in being able to use them and balance them, but still songwrite these songs that have, verse, chorus, structure and everything, but the journey and everything is still so emphatic to the point that I can hum them to myself without having to choke in order to make a noise.
Okay.
They're still like singable songs in a sense. And I think that's the that's the best era because it's genius. It's horrible to listen to, but I can still hum them, and I think that's mental.
Yeah.
The further on it goes, the more it goes down this like noise angle, and the sort of the songwriting decays. And I think it's such a shame because earlier on, Jamie Stewart shows this real ability to still craft a story and to take you on a journey instead of sort of just shouting down a microphone sort of thing, which is what it starts to become, in my opinion. And I understand if you like your noise music, those later records, stuff like Go a Basket of Fruit, are going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Because the range of sounds that are being used, it's startling, right? But for me, it's like, this is too much. It's too much. It's to the point where it's overbearing. And I think, well, I just want a song now. What I would say, though, about the earlier stuff, in particular, because the noise is stripped back and it's also more just him, it feels more personal, more intimate. I say especially the first 2 albums, especially the second album, I Promise. They are incredibly difficult to listen to. Not from a noise point, from a content point. Because you've got stuff about wanting to no longer be alive. You've got stuff about desires, some inappropriate practices, violence, the loss of loved ones and family. It feels like, I can't remember where I saw it, and it was one of the best single lines of music criticism I've ever seen. It was something along the lines of, someone whispering to you all of their secrets, but the door is locked and you can't leave,
Right.
or something. It's like, it's like you know too much at the end of the album, and it's so honest. I think his father took his own life, and especially on the second album, that comes through so many times, and it's just so full on. I've been talking about it for 7 minutes. Okay.
I mean, we've got time. You're more than welcome to speak about it as much as you like.
Keep going. It's all depressing as well. I'll come back to this song. This is like a very early precedent for the kind of stuff you'll find on later albums. Because the first album, it's from the perspective of a lady who has given up with living. She doesn't want to live anymore. And it features just constant. The chorus is, and you can cut this out if you think it's like too much of a downer, or it's going to make the podcast a bit darker or something. I don't know. But either way, I'll tell you here now. So the chorus is what? I hate my body. I hate my children. No, I hate my body. Oh no, I hate my body. I hate the desert. Please let me escape. When will I be going home? I hate my husband, hate my children. And then it varies here, but it's either I'm going to hang myself, I'm going to cut my wrists, I'm going to hump a cop, which means suicide, I guess aggravate a cop until he shoots you. Yeah. Then will I go home, I think is what he says. See, that's quite bleak, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty bleak.
Yeah.
He clearly wasn't okay at the time. I think he's much better now. He seems to be doing all right. Yeah. But listen, I know it's horrible lyrically. And I know, the sound of it generally, I suppose you can tell it's dark. But the way, this is what I'm talking about, the early stuff, the way it's structured, it is still, I can clap my hands along to it. And I still go, the journey of this is immaculate. The way that you get this sort of brass counter melody coming towards the end, it blows my mind. I've listened to it 100 times now, whatever. It blows my mind every single time. It's so simple, but it's just like, you had to have the idea first.
Yeah.
Now that we write our own music, I love sitting there and thinking, God, how did you think of that? I think of stuff sometimes, you think of stuff sometimes, but how did you think of that bit? That's really cool.
Yeah.
If this is on your personal list, Shoo Shoo and Jamie Stewart, if you ever come to it, please do. Just beware that the further on you go, the more noisy it gets.
Yeah.
The less coherent it gets. And also make sure that maybe you're quite happy when you listen, because if you're not, it's only going to send you deeper. And I will say, in big red letters, especially the second album, top 5 hardest album I've ever listened to ever. I put it alongside A Crow Looked at Me and that Divorce Lawyers I Shaved My Head sort of thing. Like, in that group of, you need to feel quite happy with your life and your own self, otherwise that it will take you to a place you don't want to be, sort of thing. It's that bad. But the songs are good. That's the annoying thing. It's well written. It's a well structured album. There you go. Cool. That's it. I'm leaving it there.
Okay.
Let's talk about happy things now.
Well, I was going to say firstly, I remember you mentioned like sad song names on the album called A Promise, which I'm guessing is their second one.
Yes.
I do recognise the album cover as well.
Yeah, it's quite an iconic album cover. And as an insight into how he was at that point in his life, and I think I don't think he's like this anymore. I think he had gone to somewhere in South Asia. I don't want to say the wrong country. And he had paid a male prostitute. Again, you can cut this out if you want. But instead of actually doing anything, I think he just said, do you want to pose for some pictures?
All right.
And so that's why the cover is a picture of a naked man.
Yeah.
In what looks like, the way the lighting is and everything, it looks like he's a prisoner of war or something.
It does look, it does have a very dark vibe to it, yeah.
That album is really difficult. It's really difficult. Stuff about his father, especially on that one, really comes out. Yeah. I guess that's why the songs are good, because he just tells it as it is. You know exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah. He has a song called Ian Curtis Wish List, which I noticed and I thought, I can immediately understand the vibe of this.
I think I can't remember if it's on that one because he sort of just speaks throughout that one, but it's funny in a horribly bittersweet way. Towards the end, he shouts Ian Curtis to the point that it really distorts. Wish list. And then I think it's on the same song that he goes, oh, and it sounds like when you make a joke in class and no one laughs. It's that sort of really embarrassing bittersweetness.
Yeah.
When he goes, oh, I was just joking. I'm only joking. And he properly screams it. And it's like you sort of want to laugh at the same time you sort of go, oh, this isn't right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, there you go. Fantano Go A Basket of Fruit is not their best album. I disagree completely. Anyway. Okay, now that that's done.
Reminds me a lot of Trent Reznor and how he looks for some reason, Jamie Stewart.
Yeah, no, I get that. He does a bit. What is interesting, I haven't listened to any of them actually. I guess it's a bit more positive. I think every single album on YouTube has about a 40 or 50 minute video of him doing what he calls a drunk commentary.
Oh, yeah.
Where he is drunk and he just, I think, talks about each track.
That's interesting.
I think it's for every album. And then I think as more band members come in and out, they join in and stuff. Yeah.
That's interesting, yeah.
I guess that is the word to conclude. They're just very interesting.
Yeah.
He is very interesting. I don't know how many points to give you here, Chris.
You can give me none. I did foreshadow it. So.
I might have to give you a donut. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I
apologise for it. It's the nature of the game. Brutal,
yeah. We end with sadness.
Much like Juju's music,
like
probably.
Juju, yeah. Well, I can confirm, especially towards the end of their most recent stuff, yeah. Brutal. Yeah. Next time I'll have happier things to talk about, promise.
There we go. Okay. I'll count it up wrong for a second. All right. Good. It's not a good score, but oh well. Accepted.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, go on.
My life.
It's times like this that really make me want to listen to A Promise by Shoo Shoo. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Well played.
GG.
Well played. Good game.
You won.
I do think it's now officially, it exists, a recording of me having won a game.
Well, if the same doesn't happen again, yeah.
Oh, please don't. No, I strategically leave the room. I go and get a drink or something. I come back in. Oh, Fred, I turned my back and I looked around and suddenly your laptop was smashed into a million pieces. I don't know how it happened.
That would be a shame.
It would. He has already done this to me before we were listening to the song by They Might Be Giants, which repeatedly said, "When will you die?" He decided to let me listen to it and just stare at me the whole way throughout. And then he said afterwards, "Oh, I think you're one of the few people I could do that with that wouldn't think I was, I did actually want you to die." To which I said, "That's exactly what someone who was waiting for me to die would say." Anyway, yeah, Idio Twin. It's going to be Idio 1 soon. Yeah. Yes, well played, Chris. Well
Cheers.
played. Conclusion points. I suppose, yes, if you are still listening and this does come out beforehand, show on the 16th at the Spice of Life. Show next month, July the 17th. Hope and Anchor in Islington. Are you playing the whiteboard game at home? Tag us on social media.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Send us your score and don't cheat.
Don't cheat. I've just hit the mic.
Because we definitely don't.
Do you?
I don't try to.
What does that mean? What's that mean?
I mean, I just lost. So what? If I did cheat, what would the lines of my cheating bring me?
That's fair. He definitely does. He so does with him. But you can't. I can. That did break my heart when we used to play it with a group, and then we reunited a few months ago. And I think at least 2 of them said, "Oh, every time we used to do this over, Discord and things, you're not in the room with me. You can't see it. I did just cheat." Just like, what? I did. Yeah. It deflated me so much.
But once again, funnily, these were the people who would never win. So
no. Although one of them, I do remember her having a couple where she did get them in a row. So maybe she did have that hot streak, and it wasn't a hot streak. She was Shazamming every single one.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Anyway. So, do you have any closing remarks?
I don't think so. Just I hope that this this version of Whiteboard Game episode 5 makes it to your ears.
Yes.
Anthony is very close to having art done for it now, so
Fantastic.
Hopefully it should be out soon. And we look forward to you hearing it. We look forward to you telling us what you think about it.
Yeah.
We mean that. Tell us
we
what
could
you think
record
about
5
it.
or 6 and people could say, "Oh, by the way, we hate this format," and we go, "Oh, okay, but please do. If you do, we can make it better."
And yeah, I think outside of that, I don't have much to say.
No. Look, we've done very well because I have work in the evenings, and the past couple of times we've recorded it, it's been an absolute rush. But I've got like 40 minutes now. It feels very pleasant.
We've made very good time, which is very good. We've
well.
actually ended it. It usually goes over like 2 hours 10 minutes, but we're just over an hour 50 at the moment.
That's
pretty
much
cool.
better than usual. Yeah. Maybe more listenable. Who knows?
Perhaps.
Yes. Okay. So I guess we've got no more to say.
No.
So I suppose I'll end it like a gig. I suppose this has been the Whiteboard Game. We've been Idio Twin. I've been Fred.
I've been Chris.
Yes. And how we normally end this, we've already congratulated each other, but we normally say one thing, and it's to ensure the longevity of this long-held friendly tradition we have, which is to say, Whiteboard Game for